Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about how to install Hadoop in Ubuntu. In our last class, we have already seen how can you install virtual machine, how to install Ubuntu on it, and we have also installed our Java 8. So let's move on. Before I start with the demonstration, I would like to show you how can you get access to all the materials and softwares, whatever I'm using as part of this program. So go to onlinelearningcenter.in and click on courses, our courses. Go to free courses and you should see Hadoop Fundamental 1. Click on it and say grab your free course. It will ask you to log in with your Google account. And once you are done, you will be inside this. Now click on start. And if you go a little down, you should see video number 6 and 7. Video number 6 is all about how do you install Ubuntu in virtual machine and Java. Once you are done with video number 6, let's go to video number 7. So today we are going to talk about this video number 7, installing Hadoop 3.3.1 in Ubuntu 20. Okay, now click on it. So now you can watch this video, and then if you see in the lecture description, we also have Hadoop 3.3.1. If you are not able to download it from website because of any reason, you can get it downloaded from our Dropbox. And we also have a notes that contains all the information that I'm going to discuss now, right? So it is just revised today, and you can just say next and say next, and you can see all the commands are all mentioned here. But then I will not advise you to type this command manually because you may make a lot of mistakes. A simple space or a mistake will lead in error, right? And what you can do probably is you can just go to this side. You can just go to this side, and then if you see there is a small download icon here, right? So click on this download, and this will download a script file for you. And this script file contains all these commands, whatever I have written here, so that you don't have to really type it out. You can just use the script file, copy paste, or whatever is given, and you should be able to do it very neatly. Let's move on. So we already have our Ubuntu, which we have already set up in our last session. And let me log into Hadoop. Let me log into Ubuntu. The password is Hadoop. So we will go ahead with the same documentation. We'll go step by step and let us see how exactly you can easily install Hadoop in your system without any error in the first go itself. So you have to be very, very cautious. Please follow with me. Okay. Now, prerequisite, you have installed Ubuntu 20.04 desktop version in your virtual machine 16. So you can also go ahead with any older version. You can also go ahead with any other virtual machines. It could be a VMware or it could be a VirtualBox from Oracle. Anything would work. Okay. If you're using Mac, then you should use VMware Fusion. All right, so you have installed Java 8, and if you do echo Java home, you should basically get user local Java JDK. So I'll say copy, and let me try this out here. So you can press Ctrl Alt and T to launch your terminal, right? And in this terminal, just say paste. Okay, so you should see user local Java JDK. Let me also increase the font of this terminal. I'll go to preferences and let me go to profiles, a node custom fonts, and let me click on it. And then let me increase this font to probably a little higher. Say here, size, I can make it at least 16 and say select. And this is a little bigger now. All right. Okay, so now we have just seen that Echo Java Home is showing you this because this is what we had set in our last class, right? So again, host name should give you output Ubuntu, right? So just copy this host name and then say paste, or you can type it, but then I will not suggest you to type because you may make a lot of mistakes when you are typing a lot of commands. Host name is showing you Ubuntu by default. Now let us try to do some configuration before we even start installing our Hadoop, right? So the first thing is let's log into root, okay, by saying sudo su, sudo user do something. What? Give me the access of root. So say paste, enter, and password is Hadoop. Okay, so we have just said sudo su and then we got into a root, right? So let's move on. Next, adding a dedicated user called SD user. We already have a user called Suraj, but we will not be using that Instead, let us try to create our own dedicated SD user, right? So before you do that, let's try to create a group first. I'll create a group called Hadoop, and all the user would be added to that Hadoop group. So let's say sudo add group Hadoop, done. And then we'll say sudo add user SD user. All right. So it is asking you to enter the password. I would suggest you to keep the password same, Hadoop. Okay. So password is Hadoop. Again, HADOOP, Hadoop. And now it will ask you to enter few information like your first name, this name, that name, and all. You're free to just hit enter, 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 enter. And is the information correct? Yes. Enter. Done. So we created SD user. Now we would like to add this SD user into a group, right? So let us try to do this. Sudo add user SD user to a group called Hadoop group. So copy this and execute this here. And I press Ctrl L to clear the screen and say paste. Next. You could have done step number 4 and 5 in a single line, but if you've already done it like that, then you really don't have to execute this command. Please skip it, okay? Because we have already done it as 2 different commands. Next. Now this SD user is basically a simple user, a normal user, right? And then I want to give it a permission. I want to give it little privilege to this. So for that, what you need to do is you need to add that into a sudo list. That means it will also have some high level privileges to do some activities. Okay. So let's try to edit this file. Okay. So I'll say sudo vi sudo. This will basically open a file for us. Okay. Now just go down and you just need to add these entries. Add those entries anywhere. Maybe I'll go here and then I'll just add it here. Okay. So say right click here like this and say paste. Okay. Done. Now once this is done, you can say Control X. Okay. Control and X is to exit. See here. Control and X is to exit. Say Control X, I want to exit. And then it is asking you, do you want to save? Just press Y, right? And say enter. Done. Okay. So please be very cautious with these. Done. Next. Now, once you are done, you have successfully created a user called SD user. You have created a group and you've already added that SD user into your Hadoop group. Now log out your system and log in again, but this time as a SD user. So what we'll do is we'll go back here and now let's say log out. Okay. And say log out. Now, once you logged out, if you see now you have 2 options, right? Suraj and SD user. SD user is the new user which you have created under a group called Hadoop, right? So let's get into this. Password is Hadoop. Now change your screen resolution to whatever works best. Okay. It's a new account. Say skip, next, done. Okay. Now, if you want to change your resolution, what you should do is go to here, so application, and just type your display. Okay. And click on this display. And from here, you can choose your resolution, whatever works best. Okay. So I'll just not change it, but this is how you will be basically changing it. Okay. So let's move on. Open a terminal again, Control Alt plus T and increase the font if required, right? So let's go back here and we'll open a terminal. So you can right click here and also see open in terminal. You can also do that. Okay. Or otherwise you can use the shortcuts. And now it's a new account. So definitely, you know, the font would be low. And if you want to change the font, again, go here, terminal preferences, right? And then from here, you go to profile, okay, unnamed, click on this unnamed. And then here you say custom font, click on this and you here, click on it. And then you can just go ahead and then increase it to whatever works for you. Okay. So let me keep 20 and say select and then say close. Right now, if you see, it is of little larger font. Let's move on to the next. Also make sure that your copy paste is working or not. That's very, very important, right? So if the copy paste is not working, then probably you have missed something out. As I said, copy paste is very, very important. You should be able to copy the data from Windows to Ubuntu and vice versa, right? So I can again try it out if the copy paste is working or not. Just go to your desktop and just say, you know, copy, and let me go to Ubuntu and I'll go to my desktop here and just try to say paste, right? I can see that I was able to copy and paste the data across Windows and Ubuntu successfully. All right, which means it's all going good so far. Okay, let's move on. Now you'll have to also configure SSH. The reason is because your Hadoop services, the Hadoop daemons would work and would communicate to each other using SSH, and that is where you have to set up this SSH. So the way to set up your SSH would be very simple. Just execute this command. And as I said, all these commands are already available in the download script. You please download it and start executing from there. So password is Hadoop, right? Say yes, capital Y, and say enter. All right, so it's done successfully. It's done. Let's move on to the next. Generate SSH for communication. So you have to generate this SSH key to communicate. Okay, so just say SSH key gen, and that should help you to get a SSH key. Like just say enter, and just say enter, and just say enter. Done. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Just say enter, 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 and it's all done. And you should see some images like this, which says that your SSH key was generated successfully. And let's move to the next. The key which was generated right now, you have to add them into your authorized key file. Okay, so for that, what you do, you just execute this command. You are saying the key which was generated just now because of my SSH key gen, this file, I want to keep it to my authorized key, right? So you can just do this, which will basically copy the content of this authorized key into this file. Done. Next, now give some permission to your authorized key location. So I'm just giving 700. So let's go back here and say paste. Let's move to the next now. So now you try to start your SSH. Okay, now you try to start your SSH by saying sudo etc init SSH restart. So let's say paste. Okay, now it's saying restarting your SSH. If it asks you for password, please provide your password. Otherwise, that's fine. Test your connectivity by just saying SSH localhost. Copy this and say paste. Okay, just say yes. Okay, so it's done. Now let's say Control L to clear the screen again. Your Hadoop works on IPv4, which means you should not use IPv6, right? So let us try to disable all this IPv6. All you need to do is follow this step, right? So open this file, right? VIM is used to open a file on edit mode so that you can edit this. Password is Hadoop, right? It opened a file. Go till the end wherever you want to. Go till the end. It does not really matter. Just press I and you will see that insert mode is on, right? Which means now you can write anything on this file. But now you copy these commands. Okay, so the first one is comment, which starts with has. Otherwise, these three are basically the entries. So copy these three commands and just put them here. Paste, right? And then say escape : WQ, which is used to save and exit the file. That's done. All right. Next, now check if your IPv6 is disabled or not. Just do a cat on this. Just do a cat on this. Okay. Now let's say paste. Okay. Now it is showing you 0, right? So look into this. Should be 1, meaning the IPv6 is actually disabled. Without reboot, it will be showing you 0. If you reboot and try, then it should show you 1. Okay, but right now it is showing you 0. That's absolutely okay. Now we have done all the prerequisite, whatever is required to set up our Hadoop. We are good to get started with Hadoop download and installation. Number 1. Now in this tutorial, we are going to use Hadoop 3.3.1, which is the latest right now available. Okay, but then it should work with any other version as well, right? Now, how do you download? Again, start with Google, right? So go to Google and say Hadoop download, right? And you get a link like this, and you can just click on Apache Hadoop, okay? And then you can say, click on download, and you can download it from here, 3.3.1. So download source, download binary, download release, and so on. So source means it gives you a source code, okay? And what are we looking for is, we are basically looking for binary. So click on this. It takes you to one of this mirror site and click on anything and it starts downloading this for you. So Hadoop 3, if you see the size, that is around 577 MB. Okay, so the size would be little high. Now, I would tell you the best other approach to download this Hadoop. Okay, go to Google and say Apache distribution. Apache distribution. Now it takes you to this directory wherein you will see all the product from Apache. And as we all know that all the products of big data, mostly Hadoop products, right? Hadoop, Spark, and everything. Most of the products are from Apache. Apache Hive, Apache Scoop, and so on. So you don't really have to go to individual website. This is something where you have a lot of products, all the products of Apache. Okay. So anytime you want to download any Apache product, feel free to say Apache distribution, come to this location and download it from here. That would also be okay. All right. So let's go to H because we are trying to download Hadoop, right? Click on it and you see there you have core, common, and all. Let me go to core. Okay, and in the core I can see Hadoop 3.3.1, right? And if you see stable, there also you should see Hadoop 3.3.1, right? So I'll go back to Hadoop 3.3.1. Okay, and then here you see a lot of files, but which one is to be downloaded? Don't get confused. Look into the size. The size will tell you the story. Okay, now see here, the size should be really high in megabytes. Okay, and what I can see is 580 megabytes, as well as I can see 577 megabytes. So I can understand that these are the two things which we would be more interested on, right? So try to download Hadoop 3.3.1 tar.zz, okay, and not this one. So let's go ahead and click on it, and this will also get this downloaded for you, right? So I would suggest you to download it from Apache distribution. All right, so we have downloaded this and I have already kept it here in my desktop. So let me show you it here. So if you see, I've already downloaded Hadoop 3.3.1 and it is ready. Okay, so it's the same file. Download this and save it to your SD user desktop. So what we'll do is, I've already downloaded it here. Let me copy this. I'll say copy and let me move it to the desktop, right? So I'll minimize this and this is my desktop of Ubuntu SD user and say paste. All right, so this is copied successfully here. Now let's move to the next. Now the next command is, now let's open the terminal. We already have a terminal, and let us try to move this Hadoop 3.3.1 to user local. This would be our installation location of Hadoop. We will use this location. Okay, you can choose any other location. It really does not matter, but let me go along with the document. So I'll just say sudo move desktop Hadoop 3.3.1 tar.gz user local. So if you're working with any other version, please feel free to change the version number here properly. Tomorrow, if you see 3.4.0, you should change the name accordingly. Okay, so copy this and let me go to Ubuntu terminal and say paste. Done. What it has done, it has moved the file from desktop to user local, right? Now, if you see, you don't have that file because we have already moved that file into user local location. Now let's move on with the document. If it asks you for password, give password Hadoop. Okay. Now I'll browse to that place where I have copied my Hadoop, right? So go to CD user local. User local is basically the directory where you have copied your Hadoop, right? You just say ls. Now if you see, you have Hadoop 3.3.1.tar.gz. Let's move on. Now what we'll do is, let us try to extract this tar.gz. The first line would extract it for you. Okay, so it has extracted the file successfully. Press Ctrl L and just say ls. Now if you see, you have this tar.gz and it is extracted to Hadoop 3.3.1, right? So let's again move forward. This is done. Once this is extracted, you are happy to remove your tar.gz because you have already extracted the content. So let's go back and say paste. Done. Next, now I really don't want to call this Hadoop with version number. Anytime I want to call it with the name Hadoop, right? So let us create a symbolic link, which means anytime if I want to get into this Hadoop 3.3.1 folder, I should not say Hadoop 3.3.1. I should just say Hadoop, right? So now let's say paste. This will create a symbolic link, right? Now let us try to change the owner of this Hadoop 3.3.1. Okay, I would like to change the owner to SD user belonging to Hadoop. Okay, so let me go back here and let me say cd dot dot. So let me be on /user local ls-ltr, right? So if you see my Hadoop, who is the owner of this? Root, right? I want to transfer the ownership from root to SD user, and that's what we are doing here. Okay, this is done. Now, I would like to also give the permission of 777 so that anybody can do a read, write, execute. And this is our single node machine. And that's the reason we are really not so much worried about permissions here, right? So now let's say ls-ltr, you will see that Hadoop 3.3.1, the user is /user and Hadoop, right? So we have changed the permission of Hadoop 3.3.1. Okay. Now, similarly, if you want to change the permission of Hadoop folder, you can also do that, but that's absolutely okay. Now, Hadoop also comes with a lot of configuration files. We must change those configurations files as well. So let's move on. Now, I will go ahead with user local Hadoop. Inside that, there is a folder called etc and Hadoop environment.sh, wherein I would like to configure my Java. And what is my Java, guys? /user local Java /JDK, because JDK was the symbolic link which we created yesterday, right? So just copy this command sudo vim, which will basically open this file in edit mode, Control L, say paste, right? So once you open this file, just go a little down and you will see somewhere, you will see some Java entries here. Okay, somewhere you will see the Java entries here. For example, see here, export Java home, right? You can just put it below that. That's absolutely okay. Or you want to go at the bottom and then you want to put, that is also fine. I would like to put them here. So say I to get it in the insert mode. That means now I can write anything. And let me go back here and copy these 3 lines. So say paste. All right. So now the first line is basically to disable your IPv6 and to continue your IPv4. Now escape :WQ saved. This is done. Let's move on. Now you will also have to update your basrc file, and basrc file is present in every user. Okay. And it is a hidden file. That's why the name is .basrc. It's a basically hidden file. So let us edit that hidden file. I can say vim basrc, say paste. Right now, I'll go down at the bottom, absolutely at the bottom. Okay, keep pressing down arrow and just go this side, right? And then say I insert mode and just go this side and then hit enter. Make sure that you don't delete any characters. It's very important. Be very, very cautious, right? So now here, let's try to copy this home. Okay, and I'll go back to this place and say paste. Pasted, and now you say escape : WQ. Done. Okay. Now, one thing you would need to understand, if you want to go to the end of the line, you don't really have to keep pressing that down arrow. You can also use colon and dollar. Next, we need to update a couple of XML files. Okay. Now, the first thing is, let us update yarn-site.xml. These are all default XML files which comes with Hadoop, right? So let's say paste. I want to edit this. Now go down. Okay, and if you see, you have a configuration and configuration here, right? And all your changes should not go at the last. Be very, very cautious while you are changing your XML file. All your changes should go within your configuration to configuration tab. Okay, so please follow me seriously and you will not have any problem. I'll just press I. My current cursor is on this angular bracket. I'll go on this side and hit enter, right? Be very cautious. And now let us do what? Let us try to save, copy this property. Okay, copy this property to properties. Whatever we have written here, just copy it. Okay, so just say copy and keep them here. Okay, you need them in one or other way. So say paste. Done. Now, once you have pasted this, if you see at the bottom, you have a configuration closing tag, right? So you should basically edit it like this. Don't keep all your entries outside your configuration. That is not a valid XML and you will have a problem while you start your Hadoop services, right? So escape :WQ. Done. Next. Now let us again go back to the next XML file. Now I'm going to edit my core site.xml. Similarly, copy this and say paste. Okay, hit enter. Now again go down. Right now, if you see, there is no space at all, right? So this is your configuration from here to here, and then here is your configuration from here to here, right? Press I, okay, and hit enter. So make sure that whatever you're writing it in between. Otherwise, you will again have a problem. Okay, so give some enter, and all your entries should be here itself. You should not write anything outside of this. Okay, so now just copy this property. Just copy this property till here, right? Property to property, copy this and just go back and right click and say paste. Done. And again say escape colon WQ, enter. Done. You also successfully edited that file, right? Next. Now in this case, what you have done is you have configured a temporary working directory, that is /app Hadoop TMP. It could be anything. Just follow whatever I'm putting it here and your installation would be smooth. Okay. Now again, let us try to create the temp folder wherein your Hadoop will work, right? We have already defined a temp folder here, app Hadoop temp, but those folders do not exist, right? So we must create those folders and give some appropriate permission and all. And that is what we are doing. We're creating a temp folder. We said this temp folder would be managed by SD user of Hadoop group, and I would like to give 750 permission to that particular folder. So just copy this and then execute this command in your terminal, right? So say paste. Done. Next, let's move on. Now again, you edit your map red site.xml. So again, open your file to edit, right click and say paste, enter, right? Go down, go till in the middle, configuration to configuration, press I, insert mode, give some spaces, right? And then you copy this as it is, right? So please copy it from the download material, whatever I have said. Otherwise, if you type, then you will make one or other mistake and then it will definitely not work. So copy this together and say, right click here and say paste. Done, right? Again, say escape colon WQ, enter. This is also updated successfully. Now, anything here interesting? Not really. Okay, so let's go down. Now, we'll also create a temporary directory which can be used as a base location by your SDFS. So you create a folder Hadoop temp SDFS name node. You create a folder Hadoop temp SDFS data node, and then give some permission to it. Okay, so let's try to create these folders, and I would like to change the ownership to Hadoop. So just say paste. Control L to clear everything. If you forget to set the required ownership and permission, you will see a java.io exception when you try to format the name node in the next section. Okay, so please make sure that you're taking it really seriously. Next, now update your SDFS site.xml, right? So I'll just copy this and let's go to SDFS site.xml. Okay, now in this, again go to configuration, in the middle, press I, insert mode. And now let us try to copy this stuff. And if you see, we are saying that the replication factor by default would be 1 here because it is a single node installation, right? So let us try to copy this whole stuff wherein I'm saying my replication would be 1. My name node default directory would be Hadoop temp SDFS name node. My data node default directory would be SDFS temp SDFS data node. So copy this and just say paste. You have already pressed I to get into the insert mode, paste. Now escape colon WQ, enter. Done. All right, so far we have all done good. Now it's the time to format your name node, right? So let's try to format the name node. I'll just say name Hadoop name node format and just say paste, enter. Okay, it said command not found. What to do? Let's close this terminal. Okay, say close. Done. Let me relaunch my terminal again. So say open in terminal. All right, now right click and say paste, enter. Right now it started executing. So just follow my notes here. It says open a new terminal as the Hadoop command would not work, right? And then execute your command Hadoop name node format, and let's wait for some time. And if you see, it has done something for us, right? It has done something for us, and I think your name node is formatted successfully. Okay, so now let's say Control L, done. Now let us try to start your single node cluster. So you can either use start dfs.sh to start name node, secondary name node, and data node, and you can use start yarn.sh to start your node manager and resource manager. Okay, or else you can directly say start all.sh. That will also work. Okay, so let me choose the last one right now because I want to start them together. So say enter. Now wait for some time. All right. So now if you see it's all done, right? So let us do what? Let us say JPS. Okay. Now when we did JPS, if you see your, you should have 5 services up and running. Okay. So let's go one by one. Name node, secondary name node, right? Data node, node manager, and resource manager. This is what we studied in our Hadoop 2 architecture, right? Yarn architecture, that you should have all these 5 services up and running, right? So that means you have successfully installed Hadoop in your machine, and it is a single node installation, right? Let's move on. We have a few more things to do. You can also start your history server, and these history servers are used by some other component. And if you want to try it out, you can just say mr job history daemon.sh start history server. So let's give it a try, right? So say enter. All right, done. Next, similarly, if you want to stop, then you would basically use this to stop your history server. Okay. Now, if you do not stop this, and if you say JPS, you should see the history server as well. So let me again say JPS. Now, if you see, you have got another component called job history server. Okay, done. Next, now if you want to stop your job history server, definitely you can use the stop command to do that, right? But now what we have is this. Okay, next. Now let us try to do what, let us try to say Hadoop fs-ls. And for the first time, you may get this error. Okay, first time you may get this error. It says no such directory, no such file or directory. So what happened is Hadoop was set up successfully, but it has not created some directories by default. It used to create earlier in the older version, but these days it does not, right? So what you need to do is you will have to execute a command like this. Okay, you will say Hadoop fs-mkdir-p /user SD user. This is the default location for a SD user. We have used SD user to install Hadoop, so you should have a default location called /user SD user. Okay, now either you can use this command or you can use this command. The new command is this Hadoop. Instead of saying Hadoop fs, you can say sdfs dfs-mkdir. Okay, but both of them would work and you can use any of them right now. Okay, so I'm using the old command Hadoop fs-mkdir-p /user SD user. Done. Now once this is done, let's try to say Hadoop fs-ls, and it should not give you that error. It should just say done, right? There's no content in this file. There's nothing in your SDFS because you have recently created a Hadoop, you have recently formatted your name node, and everything is completely new. You do not have any files and folders. And that's where when you say Hadoop fs-ls, it did not give you anything. But we will talk about more about all these commands in our SDFS lessons. Okay, now let's move on. Now you may be interested to look into the UIs. Okay, so you can browse the name node using 9870. So let's try this out. So I'll just say copy. Okay, I'll just say copy. Let me go to Ubuntu. I'll open a browser here. So this is a UI of your Hadoop, right? From where you can also go to utilities and then browse the file system and so on. Okay, we'll look into this all together as we move on, but then you can just click on all these things and just go around all this stuff, right? But then we will look into all these things as we move on with the program, right? So this is one thing which you would like to look into. Next, you can also see the UI of your resource manager. So just say 8088, right? So let's go back here and I'll open another tab and say paste. Here, whatever job you submit, that you will see here. The moment you say Hadoop jar, you should see one entry here. Okay, every job, whatever you run, you should basically see all those stuff here. We'll also look into this as we move on with the program, right? So similarly, you can also try to check your job history server. So say copy this and let me open a new tab and say paste. So this will also show you the job history details, but then as long as your job history service is running, right? All right. So we are done with this. And now I would like to talk about few problems you may face. Okay. Number one, you might have messed up your XML file. And if you mess up your XML file, the moment you try to start your Hadoop, and when you say JPS, you will not see all these 5 up and running. Okay. So I'm not talking about the history server here, but then like apart from history server, you will see one or other thing is missing. Maybe your name node is not running, or maybe your data node is down or whatever, right? Now, how do you identify? First, do a JPS and see what is not working. Okay, let us assume your data node is down. So where to look into, right? So what you can do is you can go to this location cd/usr local Hadoop. This is where you have installed your Hadoop, right? So just say ls. Now you see there should be a log, right? So go to log ls. Now if you see there are a lot of files generated, there are a lot of files created. So if the data node is not working, then you should basically look into this data node related files. Okay, don't check name node related file if your data node is not working. This file will tell you what is the problem. How do you browse this? You can just say cat Hadoop SD user data node dot log, enter, and you see if there are any errors. That's how you will be basically able to check, right? Similarly, if you have problem with any other daemon, then please go ahead and check these files. This file will tell you whether there is a permission issue or whether there is a formatting issues, whether you messed up your XML entries. That is what I see very common from the people. They come to me and say, my Hadoop is not running. So your Hadoop is not running just because you have messed up in one or other place. So please be very cautious. You may get sometime a problem like this. You got the problem in your data node.log, and the problem was something like this: incompatible cluster ID, this and that. If that happens, when you try to see the file, and if you're getting the exception like this, that means there is some problem with your data node formatting. Okay, so what you do is you remove this location, you execute this command sudo rm-rf and all, you delete the data node, everything from this data node folder, and then you start your cluster again and see if that works for you, right? And if any of the services are not running, then I would suggest you to go to the Hadoop logs and see what is not running. You will get very clear information from Hadoop that there is some problem. If it shows that unable to parse kind of exception, that means you have messed up with your XML entries. So you must go and fix certain XMLs. You revisit all these files again, right? And open each of these XML file and see what went wrong. Okay. So I hope you understood this. We have successfully installed a single node Hadoop in our Ubuntu system, right? And next we will talk about the Hadoop commands.